Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Leading Women, a series where we cover inspiring stories of women in leadership roles. Today we are joined by a very special young achiever, Rasleen Kaur. Rasleen is a computer science grad from Indraprasth University and an MBA grad from NMIMS Mumbai's batch of 2012. She joined Policybazaar right out of campus, and just within 9 years, she heads the corporate strategy and investor relations at PB FinTech group companies, which are Policybazaar, Bazaar, and Doc Prime. She has seen this journey of the startup turning into a unicorn and finally going public, which was just a few packs. And I think the year which has seen a lot of IPOs happening, I think we couldn't have a better guest right now. So thank you so much, Rasleen, for joining us today. Thank you so much for taking out time to meet with us. The first question for you would be, who was the first woman you looked up to and why did you want to be like her?
For me, gender was never a consideration when I was looking for inspiration, ever, I would say. Teachings about my faith were an integral part of my childhood. And in Sikhism, we were always taught that women have a position of equals with men in all fields of life. There were tales of these female leaders and warriors my mom used to recite for bedtime stories. That sort of conditioning formed the foundation of the thinking process, I guess, especially when it was coming from a professor who was exemplifying a balanced professional and personal life. So it was it was like what my mom imparted, and she herself, what she brought through her living. Also, growing up, I did find many other women stirring strength in me. Those excelling in their respective professional fields, I guess that was the most fascinating.
Coming to the second question, Rasleen, have you become more risk averse or risk seeking as you progressed in your career?
I was never risk averse, to be honest. I would fall somewhere between the category of being risk neutral and risk seeking. Challenges drive me through the day, and I have never hesitated from trying anything new. I guess that only helps in widening horizons. That and I would say that would come genetically to me because I belong to a family of entrepreneurs. When I joined PB, Policybazaar, it was just a startup, okay, and taking that job straight out of an MBA college, I was told to look for more stable options. That was not so exciting to rest of the folks around me. So I was asked, why don't you try something which is more enticing than something which is so risky right now? But I'll tell you how the whole thing went about. So Yashish, he was the CEO. He came to my campus for recruitment, and his pitch went like, I do not know if we will shut down in 1 year, but I definitely know what we want to build. There was this clarity of thought, and there was this candidness about the risk. When I asked him about my role, all he said was, it's an open field and pick what you like. That struck a chord with me. And that is how I joined PV. And must I say that journey has been interesting from day one, and it has kept me on toes. Having said that, ironically, one of my jobs at PV is to keep a stern eye on the risks we take and mitigate them as early as possible. I've done different hats here, and doing things outside my comfort zone always keeps the spark on.
Rasleen, what are some moments of self-doubt you have had in your journey and how did you manage it?
At the risk of sounding chesty, I can confess that it's very rare that I have self-doubt. I know that if I'm working with the right intent and there's a logical conclusion that I'm chasing, then I can tread any path. It might take a detour from the planned course, and the goal also might change during the journey. But till the time I know I will have the zeal to stand up after I fall, I can keep going. My work involves being the devil's advocate. So it is very regular for me to be challenged for making the tough calls. But I guess I get a thrill from being able to maneuver through those while keeping everybody on board.
This is because you said that you love challenges. And what will be the biggest challenge for the generation of women you think behind you?
I would say maneuvering the delicate balance of professional and personal priorities there. especially with the increasing cutthroat competition. We want to be inclusive as a workforce, and we do not, all of us, like we do not appreciate any special handouts, no matter what name we give them. Uh, but biological differences will always be there, right? We cannot deny those. So we need to find out ways to enable that there is always an equal platform which is available.
Mm-hmm.
And to that extent, I would say even the pandemic has shown us a way in which we can offer flexible choices, and that I would say is irrespective of the gender, without impacting the outputs. In fact, it might only help us uh, with improved mental health as a byproduct of such initiatives.
Why do you think empathy is such a key part of leadership, and why has it just emerged as a topic of discussion?
Empathy is an integral part of leadership, I would say, and the need is only magnified during crisis. If your employees don't feel vested in you emotionally, I would say, then they will always just be employees and not your warriors. And then empathy is a two-way street. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, in my team, we have a norm that each one will have another's back in times of crisis. Because when we know, we all know that team is as strong as its weakest link,
Yeah.
right? So we are out there as a battalion and not as individual warriors. Like in the team, if you're schooled to think of effects of our actions on our stakeholders, we've already started our journey, right? Now, to be able to mirror that culture throughout the organization by means of policies and to be able to sustain that through scale ups is what we endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
We take immense pride in the fact that there is rarely any attrition in the senior management at Policybazaar, and that culture is deeply rooted through multiple layers of management. And to be able to witness that at play is beautiful. So empathy does play a very crucial role in driving people towards a common goal.
I agree. I completely agree that we are human at the end of the day. And to be able to guide your team, there has to be empathy in play there. What are some of the strategies that you can help women achieve a more prominent role in oftentimes male dominated industries?
Mm, okay. First, do not think of it being a negative. I would say it's a think of it as a blessing in disguise, because you are now awarded an opportunity to stand out without having to do anything. Okay. I guess a positive frame of mind just always helps. So whether it's a situation of you being in the minority or any other challenge that is thrown at you, once you're confident in your head, then you will do whatever it takes to achieve the goal you've set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, not holding back because you think the world has a bias against your gender, which may, or in some cases, may not also be true. So this will save you from doing a disservice to yourself. Nobody appreciates weakness. So if you're strong enough to command what you want, you will get it. Woman or not, you'll get what you want. And there cannot be a rule book or one size fits all strategy for that. So when you are in the game, you play whatever is needed to do.
Yes, I think that's a great tip, and that's actually a very interesting tip, to be honest, Rasleen. Have a positive frame of mind, and everything else will fall in place. What are some assumptions or biases you have noticed as a female leader?
Quite a few, I would say. Women cannot do long hours if needed. They will not be inclined towards work post marriage or maternity. Crediting gender over merit when it comes to advancements in career, which is ironical actually, is quite evident at a lot of places, I would say. But you cannot change the world in one go, right? So to keep an internal locus of control and keep working without giving any mind share to these biases is what we know we need to do. And that's how I operate. Like any bias which becomes a hindrance, you just ignore it and you can walk past any hurdle then.
Coming to my last and my favorite question, Rasleen, what is the one advice you will give to the 10-year-old yourself?
Every vision can be translated into reality. So dream big, bigger than what you think is possible. Just dream big, and don't lose sight of the goal. You'll eventually find a way to reach. Never say no to any work. Uh, there should be an unsatiated hunger to do more, always, in every field. Never feel tired or afraid to experiment in unknown domains, and always have the itch to do something novel. In short, I would say learn fast, unlearn faster, and relearn the fastest.
Rasleen, thank you so much again for joining us. And I think this was a very refreshing interview. You're a young achiever, and I congratulate on all your achievements here. And I hope you have a great year ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stuti. Thanks for your time.